I will start off. We'll do opening statements from the chair, from the ranking member, then the chair of the subcommittee, of the whole committee, and the ranking member of the whole committee, I think, may be here. We may have to adjourn for votes in the middle. If we do, I just ask for your patience. It will take about a half hour or so, and then we'll be back and continue on. With that, I'll start off with my opening statement. We are here today to discuss the looming crisis at the United States Postal Service. Today, the demand for traditional first-class mail continues to decline. Postal Service deficits continue to rise, and competition and benefit costs continue to account for approximately 80% of the Postal Service's operating expenses. The Postal Service has said it will lack the necessary funds to make a required payment to pre-fund its retiree health care benefits that is due at the end of September. A continued imbalance between revenues and expenses means that taxpayers could ultimately be asked to bail out the Postal Service. This hearing presents an opportunity for lawmakers to hear important testimony from the front lines of the postal industry on how best to strengthen the Postal Service. For many years, the Postal Service has delivered mail 6 days a week to virtually every home in America, including over 170 billion pieces of mail in 2010 alone. But the Postal Service suffered from an operating deficit of $8.5 billion in 2010 and projects further losses into the future. The ever-increasing reach of the Internet and digital media and the deep economic recession are the primary drivers of a rapid recent decline in mail volume. It is now clear that the need for workforce reductions and other cost-cutting measures must be the primary focus of the Postal Service, its labor unions, and this Congress in order to improve the financial stability of this venerable institution. Everyone that has a stake in the viability of the Postal Service must work together to find solutions. Postmaster General Patrick Donahoe recently outlined the Postal Service vision for a return to profitability. I commend you, sir, on that report and your commitment to reducing costs by undertaking major organizational restructuring, reviewing how best to provide retail postal services, and implementing automation to improve delivery efficiency. Today, the Postal Service is negotiating labor contracts with 2 union groups representing postal employees. While some postal employee unions have cooperated on efforts to reduce the workforce through attrition and incentives for early retirement, those efforts simply have not resulted in the changes necessary to maintain a self-funding Postal Service. Realigning the postal workforce by re-examining labor agreements must be part of the strategy to improve the Postal Service fiscal foundation. Congress has an obligation to make statutory changes, if necessary, which will allow the Postal Service to address its own budget imbalance. We need to empower you. However, proposals for providing short-term fiscal relief, such as modifying retiree health benefits, pre-funding payments, or refunding so-called overpayments of the Civil Service retirement system and the Federal Employee Retirement System, do not address the long-term systemic problem and solvency issues that must be tackled in order to address the Postal Service will achieve long-term financial stability. Without a thorough reform of all aspects of the Postal Service's business model, there can be little hope that it will return to profitability in the near or long-term future. The looming fiscal crisis of the Postal Service can no longer be ignored. We have kicked that can far enough. I have the responsibility, no, we have the responsibility to change course and must consider all possible solutions. I thank the witnesses for appearing here today, and I look forward